All right, so you already know the drill. Hit the like button one time for the culture and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Now, it's got to be, it's mock draft time. We got to talk these mock drafts, man. I always like to see just the different thought processes from my own mock drafts that I've released out here. We obviously know the Mel Kipers of the world that we've, reacted to on multiple occasions just due to the prestige and the history of those guys, even when they don't get it right all the time. But I digress. But I also like the fact that we do these fan mock drafts, man, so I get a chance to hear how Steelers Nation is seeing, seeing things, how they might particularly want things to fall out in a certain way, especially with all the new updates that we have surrounding these quarterbacks, guys leaving, signing, and everything in between. So you already know, like I said earlier in the show, man, we update these. They're on the website, arthurmoats.com, so definitely tap in, all right? But the first one, man, that I'm going to talk about is from the homie Dondre E. Zale. Shout out to the homie Dondre E. Zale. And for his mock draft, he went with Derek Harmon at pick 21. We talked about Derek Harmon. I think it was Mel Kiper's most recent mock draft had us taking him as well. So, I like that pick right there. Heck of an interior D lineman. After there at 83 in the third round, he has DJ Giddens, the shifty running back out of Kansas State. Definitely like that. At 122, Ricky White. Give me some wide receiver action from UNLV. Sitting Gucci road, baby. You know what time it is. And then at 163, he went with Cal McCord. All right. Okay. Little dark horse QB candidate. I like the dark horse candidate. Shout out. All right, let's see what else we have on this. 225 went with Tyler Beatty. A little edge rush out of BYU. Gave me some safety help late in the draft, man, with Glendon Miller. And then I like the fact that, man, shooting at the offensive line again. Go get me another guy. Joe Huber. Interior guard, but from Wisconsin, man. So when you're just thinking about, big body dudes, man, people that can at least give you competition or potentially, more depth for the position when you're talking about moving on from James Daniels and company. I do like the fact that he addressed that later on in this here particular draft right here, man. But I would say, man, the things that really stood out to me the most with Dondre Ezell's mock draft, though, like I said, I like the fact that he went and got a dark horse candidate at quarterback, right? And what I mean by dark horse is this. Not one of the big name, main guys, right? The Shadors, the Cam Wards, the Jackson Darts of the world, Will Howards, right? Or even a Jalen Milroe. Because I feel like all of those guys are getting talked about, more so early first, second round type conversations. But Kyle McCord, he falls into that dark horse candidate. Guys that we have heard about, guys that have had some level of success throughout their collegiate time and even specifically last year, but there's still parts of their game that leave you to desire more. So that's why I call them dark horse candidates, because they could always develop. We've seen Brock Purdy, man. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks, surprise us, so to speak, man. The other thing that I do like is that he went with a D tackle in round 1. We obviously said, man, losing Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward's getting older. You do want to get younger in that position and just make it more productive there. So that way it takes a little bit more pressure off these linebackers that we have that are more on the athletic side versus being more on the physical downhill, just old school thumping side. So I do like that, man. And I also like the fact that with Dondre Ezell, it kind of gave me just, we're going to shoot at all the position groups that we are, wanting to add. Whether it's competition directly for starters, whether it's depth competition, but you look at it, he has a D tackle, a running back, a wide receiver, a quarterback, an edge rusher, a safety, a guard. Dude, those are a lot of different positions that he hit on. And for me, I kind of like that. I think that's a little bit appealing. So shout out to Dondre E. Zale on that mock draft. All right. Next up. I'm going to call you Mr. Mock Draft. All right. Heck, Santy, because listen, I appreciate you. Don't nobody do mock drafts the way you do mock drafts, Heck Santy, okay? And what I mean by that is this, ladies and gents. Heck Santy might literally have sent 50 mock drafts in the past 2 weeks, baby. And I'm all here for it, all right? I'm all here for it. Just lets me know you all the way invested in this thing, baby, all right? So shout out to you. And for anybody else trying to participate, get their mock draft sent in, you already know the drill. Moats winners at gmail.com, all right? But with Heck Santy, he went Caleb Johnson, he traded back in the first round from pick 21 to pick 30 and it picked up an additional second round pick, the 56 overall pick. All right. So I do like the creativity on the front end in terms of moving back to acquire another asset, whether that is a second round pick or another third round pick, but while also still maintaining a first round pick. pick. And that's something to me that I think is important. I don't want to move out the first round just to simply move out the first round, because I do feel like you get more talented players or higher end players that have less potential to not work out in the first round compared to the later you get into the draft. So I like the fact that he moved back to 30 and he still gets Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. Big fan of his game. I think he's silky smooth, man. I like his burst, like his catch out, like his ability to catch as well. And yeah, man, just say dope running back. You heard, was talking with TG. I said, man, I think that's one of the big three that will go first round between Ashton Genty and Marion Hampton. I think Caleb Johnson is that other guy. But then from there, man, going Alfred Collins, big body, D tackle, Texas in the second round. Love that pick. Logan Brown, give me some O-line help, man. He did that in the third round out of Kansas. And then give me some of that Churchland High School. 757. Now, listen, I'm going to just tell y'all right now, yes, I get hyped because Charles Grant is from the crib, but not just from the crib. He from my high school. Churchland High School. Ain't many of us that get a chance to start talking, combines and drafts and stuff. And yeah, man, my man Charles is right there on the edge of it. So the fact that, he's included in this mock draft, of course, I'm going to love it. All right. But the only thing that is a knock on him is he went to William & Mary. Y'all know how we feel about William & Mary, but shout out to Coach T. All right. But from there, man, at 156, went with Tyler Shuck. I like the dark horse candidate. He's another one of those guys that's shooting up a lot of draft boards the further we get into this process. Then from there, Zy Frazier, the corner out of Texas, Stephen Austin, and then went with the D tackle late in the draft, Warren Brinson out of Georgia. Never hate picking up a Georgia interior D lineman, man. Them dudes are athletic. Those dudes are specimen. And we know if you can get them, here and locked in and focused, man, they have a ton of potential due to their athleticism. But as a whole, man, with Heck Santee's mock draft, love the fact that he traded back, still was able to get a running back in round one, still give me one of the big three, one of the higher end dudes. I love that. You got the Charles Grant pick. Y'all heard how I felt about that, man. And I like the fact that you doubled up on O-line. Now, Logan Brown, a little bit more flexibility. Charles Grant predominantly played left, but he will be able to move around as well. Just from what I briefly seen with him, I do like the fact that when you're talking about our offensive line, right? We're going to have young people starting, Troy Fautanu, Broderick Jones. With that, are we optimistic and feeling really excited about them? Yes. But do you still want to hedge your bet, give you a little bit of insurance? Yes. And that's what this draft does right here. So shout out to Heck Santee on that. And he was able to do that, obviously, by not having to go get one of these dudes in the second round. By him trading back, that gave him that additional second round pick to now address D-line and still address running back, get you two very, very talented players while still getting you some O-line help, getting you a dark horse candidate at quarterback. Like I said, Tyler Shuck has been moving up a lot of draft boards, man, as this thing continues to go. So I like that. And you got him in, was it the 5th round? So you can't go wrong with that at all. All right. But shout out to Heck Santee, man. And like I said, Heck, dude, don't no one send mock drafts or you send mock drafts. All right, so salute you. Hit the like button one time for the coach. And don't forget to subscribe either if you are new to the channel. All righty, next up, we got the homie Richard R.B. So shout out to Richard as well, man. And he traded back, man. I believe Philadelphia is who he says, from pick 21 to pick 32 in the first round. Then that gave him the ability to acquire an additional second round pick, or recoup that second round pick, man, 64th overall. So first round, he went with the Marion Hampton. Y'all know I'm a big fan of him. I even got my UNC jersey on by accident, but little man wanted to twin today. And, I talked about them jerseys. We're struggling right now on jerseys that are relevant and are no longer officially throwbacks. So, yeah, we went with a good old MJ. Can't go wrong with him, right? But from there, man, goes Deion Walker, big body, athletic interior D lineman for certain, would help us out and upgrade us in the trenches versus the run as well. Will Howard, I'm a fan of Will Howard, man. I do like him at quarterback as a option in this bid in the third round. You can't go wrong with that at all. Let's see. After that, I like them first 3 rounds. Let's keep it going though, man. He went O-line, the tackle out of Rutgers, Holland Pierce in the 4th round. Then went with the D tackle at Indiana, CJ West. Shout out to CJ West, baby. Tommy Hill was the cornerback that he took from Nebraska in the 6th round. You know how we feel them 6th round fraternity boys. And then Shamir Dyke, the wide receiver from Florida. So once again, man, shooting at multiple position groups, but at the same time for Richard, love the fact that when he traded back, he addressed the big 3 position groups of need in my eyes coming into the draft. running back because you do not have a Najee Harris. You got Jalen Warren, you have Kenneth Gainwell, but to me, I still feel like you are missing a bigger piece. So you still were able to address that. You gave me the D tackle that I needed because with us losing Larry Ogunjobi, we still feel good about Cam and Keanu Benton, but there's still some room for improvement and consistency with Benton. So bringing me another D tackle into the mix, into the fold, will only promote more competition and ultimately give Keanu another young running mate to continue to grow and develop with. So I do like that. Then from there, you're giving me another quarterback in those top 3 rounds. And this is one of those guys that could go second round, could go third round. We don't know officially just yet. We will see how it plays out. But he's one of those guys that is talked about on more of the front end of the draft. So I do like the fact that if you're going to get a guy, get you one of those dudes that you feel very confident will be able to have his game translate to the next level. So shout out to that one right there. But I like this, though, as a whole, man. And then, like I said, man, give me some offensive line competition, some other D-line competition. Addressing that cornerback room, even though it's later in the draft, it doesn't hurt to shoot there, right? You still want to just add talent, add pieces. And that's what we're doing with this particular one. So shout out to you, Richard Arbizo. I like this. I like this a lot right here, all right? All right, final one we're going to get to is from the homie Jason Canister. All right, shout out to Jason Canister as well. And for him, man, you heard when we was talking earlier, I said, man, it's only one big body. It's only a couple big body interior D linemen that I would really want in that first round. If not Mason Graham, then let me get Kenneth Grant. At 21, he took Kenneth Grant. Can't go wrong with that, man. That dude is an animal in the interior D lineman part of the defense, man. And then from there, man, all my West Virginia people, especially Terrence Garvin, he's going to love this. Wyatt Milam, the tackle from West Virginia, man. So we went with in the 3rd. Then after that, Tyler Shuck, the quarterback out of Louisville in the 4th. Jackson Slater from Sacramento State, all right, at 162. Mello Dotson, the corner from Kansas, is at 223. Then from there, man, I like the speedy smaller, shiftier receiver, Jimmy Horn Jr. from Colorado. And then Raheem Sanders, the running back out of South Carolina, was our final pick at 245. Now with Jason, number one, you got the trenches upgraded, right? We got trenches action, man. Whether you're talking about Kenneth Grant, big body interior D lineman that's going to help us out in a major way, or if we're talking about Wyatt Milam, man, the tackle from West Virginia, left tackle, dude, big or nice frame, good feet, strong hands, has some positional flexibility, but at the same time was a heck of a player at West Virginia. And if you think about the last West Virginia player that we drafted, I'm just saying Zach Frazier, I would say that's an A+ on the pick. Heck, what about Benny Bishop? Think he was balling, even as an undrafted guy. So all I'm saying is I don't hate going back to that West Virginia talent pool and pulling from that again. Tyler Shuck, though, man, like I said, man, dark horse candidate, but at the same time, in this particular mock, has been going a little bit higher, but I do like that. Like I said, I like this draft a lot, man. And with Wyatt Milam, man, I'm going to get competition at left tackle. I'm going to get somebody that's going to push Broderick, make Broderick be elite, or excuse me, make Broderick just be dang good to, you know, his version of elite, whatever that looks like. Or I'm going to have a guy that I think can come in here and play at a high level. So I do like that, man. Jackson Slater, man, Sacramento State. It was funny, man. I've been seeing a lot of the Sacramento State logo, and I had no clue what the logo was, man. Somebody like the high school kids I follow, stuff, you know, from doing the color commentary and things like that, man. They've been posting their new offers, and I'm like, yo, which school is this? What is this logo right here? And then I started seeing it on the mock. I was like, oh, Sacramento State. Y'all heavily trying to get some of these Pittsburgh talented football players out your way, man. Shout out to Sacramento State. Y'all shooting. But shout out to Jackson Slater, though. All right, I like that. Mello Dotson, like I said, man, getting a corner. Another wide receiver, running back action. You shoot for variety, which I do like, especially when you're going late in the draft. You really, to me, you can't go wrong when you start getting rounds 5, 6, 7. It's like, man, if you like a particular player, is there something about this guy that you saw throughout his career and you think it's worth a flyer on? Man, that was the type of guys you're getting at this stage because, yeah, the ones that are a little bit more polished, the guys that are a little bit more just, you know, plug and play, ready to go, those guys typically go in the first, second, and third round. So that's kind of the mindset from my perspective when I look at a draft like this. But I do like the fact that on the front end, you address the major needs to me. So one final time, man. Like I said, this was Jason Canister's mock draft. All right, y'all make sure y'all review it. Let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. All right, next up we have Richard R. Bezo. Make sure y'all check him out. Tell me how y'all feel about him in the comment section. All right. Oh, that's right. I should probably reread those all for the audio only gang over there. Okay, so audio only crowd. Jason Canister, he had Kenneth Grant, Wyatt Milam, Tyler Shuck, Jason Slater, Mello Dotson, and Jimmy Horn Jr., along with Raheem Sanders. All right. Then from there, man, Marion Hampton was with Richard Arbizo in his draft in the first round. Deion Walker, he went with Will Howard, Holland Pierce, CJ West, Tommy Hill, and Shamir Dyke as his final 7th round pick. Shout out to Richard Arbizo right there. Heck, Santi, man, traded back in that first round. Got Caleb Johnson, Alfred Collins out of Texas in the 2nd round. Logan Brown in that 3rd round. Charles Grant, Churchland High School, 7x7. Went with him in the 4th, man. From there, Tyler Shuck, QB out of Louisville, Zach Frazier, and then ended it with Warren Brinson, D tackle out of Georgia. Shout out to Heck Santi. And then the final mock was Dondre Ezel, man. Went with Derek Harmon, the D tackle from Oregon in round 1. DJ Giddens in round 3. And then from there, man, Ricky White, the wide receiver from UNLV, Cal McCord, the QB from Syracuse, Tyler Batty, the edge from BYU, Glendon Miller, the safety from Maryland, and then finally was Joe Huber, the offensive guard from Wisconsin. So comment section, y'all let me know, man, whose mock draft y'all like the most, and who would y'all have done differently. But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, baby. Peace.